Now, another subject that's not often spoke about, especially for presentations, as it has very little to do with the presentations itself, is the language. Now, I want you to remember that missing words. Now, small words are the ones that count the most. Why? Because we often miss them out. Now, you have to be very careful about missing words when using English as a second language, or it may be your first. And if the case is, please try to remember that when you leave small words out, people can become confused. Or if you misuse small words, it can change the meaning of the sentence. So we need to be very, very careful about missing words. I have seen participants in and attending presentations where grammar has been a major concern. Now, not everyone will notice, but I can guarantee you that if it's your boss or your lecturer or possibly a client, they will notice, even if the language is second or third to them. Now, some of your audience will be graduates of an English-based education, so remember, small words count. Some of those small words are, of course, as. Now, as is used for things that are similar. Like as such as, or as good as, in this particular fashion. Now, the word to is towards an intangible thought. Now, the intangible thought could be real, but as you speak about it as a thought only, you use the word to. I'm going to school, I'm going to the shop. Now, the shop and the school are real, but the thought or idea of the action is the intangible thought. Okay. We have to be very, very careful when writing to, because there are three. There's two, and two. Now, to is towards. too is usually used when adding something. We usually say also. Sometimes we say to. Now, when we add something, we use also. Sometimes we use to, or two things together. Now, we also know that 2 is the number. Now, as I was saying before, with these, when speaking to your audience or to your participants, it's okay, because they all sound the same, and it's not going to make very much difference in the presentation as you speak. But in the materials that you hand out to your participants, be very, very careful. Now, you know that spoken can be very confusing, and it can be confusing enough, but it becomes even more tricky when we start to write things like this. The word with is used when you want to single one thing or one person out of a group and mention the group as well. So I am going with them, or I am going with the bus tour, or I am going with the whoever or whatever. It doesn't really matter. What we're doing is that we're singling one out. It helps you to highlight one particular item or person within a group. When is used with an association, and it is used associated mostly with time, even when time isn't mentioned. In and out are directions in motion. When the motion hasn't started or has finished, we would use something like into or out of. Now, up is a direction, as is down. Why is a question word used with reasoning. Now, we often use these words with rhetorical questions. Now, rhetorical questions are often not requiring an answer. So is used in several different ways, but mostly with directional command. So why not do this? Or why not do it this way? Okay. Is of course singular. It's a grammar point. And it's used as a singular happening. for one thing, for one person, or one place. Are is the same, but with more than one. Was and were are both past verbs, singular and plural respectively. Will is very tricky as it's a command word and often used with I when complaining. I will. Can is used with ability. Please don't use it with command. And not used instead of may, which is asking permission. Now, may I sit here? Can I sit here? Yes, you can. May I sit there? No, you can't. So it's very, very careful that you use these two words separately and you use them correctly. It alleviates what is called misunderstandings, especially when you're speaking to more than one participant or you're moving into a group. Now, as you can see, simple words can often be tricky, and a solid understanding of the English language is very much needed to properly use these words. Now, your understanding of the English language may be that it is your second language, or for some of you it will be a third or a fourth language. Please be very, very careful. When, as I'm using it here in time something in the future. So when you use them, be very, very careful. Thank you.